I was in a study group with some students in the business school and talking about wanting to do an internship. And one of the guys I was studying with had mentioned INROADS. And he's part of a business fraternity at my university. And so it was kind of like a weird trick that all the business fraternity kids knew. So I got lucky in that, he mentioned it to me and I was like, wow, that sounds perfect. It was really impressive because they brought you to this whole conference. We stayed in hotels and they had all these classes. I think what really impressed me the most was definitely the structure and the network. I mean, the people teaching the classes were people from industry, and there were a lot of volunteers, ex-INROAD interns in really great positions and were everywhere. So it's just a really fun and beautiful community. And I guess you just don't really expect that when you go into an internship program. My friends I met during that at the hotel, Tim was just at my birthday in February. My husband just saw Tim this past weekend. We're best friends, and it's crazy because it's like, I have photos of me and him at INROADS, and that's how we initially met. So at MetLife, I was a process optimization intern. And that was really fun because we got to go to New York to the headquarters. Their office is actually in Bryant Park. And so that was fun because I had two other folks I was interning with. And so we became very close. And so we used to go out after to go get dinners. And so I think I really like the camaraderie of the internship. But in terms of the work we did, it's funny because what I do now for my living, which is process optimization, is very similar to the work I did at MetLife, where, we sat in a lot of corporate meetings and we talked about how to improve day-to-day operations and, make the company more efficient, more lean, more nimble. So it was really fun. I'm one of those people that I try to be in extra early just to be like, look at me, I'm so eager. And you got to consider I'm 20 and I'm it's my first corporate internship. So I'm trying to go all out. So I get in the elevator one morning and it's I think 5:30, 6 a.m. And lo and behold, who enters the elevator with me? It's Steve Kandarian, the CEO of MetLife. But I did my little elevator pitch, and this is why when INROADS says practice an elevator pitch and INROADS tells you, hey, you need to get that ready, I literally thought I would never use that elevator pitch my entire life. I mean, I thought I was gonna go to my grave with it, and 20 years old, I'm here using my first elevator pitch, which is insane. But I think after MetLife is when I decided and I realized, actually, no, I want to go into business. So at MetLife, it was very similar where you go in and you do process optimization, and actually got my Lean Six Sigma and Yellow Belt while I was at MetLife. So it's funny because I went full circle because I left that role for a bit. I figured out what I liked, and maybe in 5 years, I'll know more about me and I'll change and I'll decide I want to go in a different trajectory. But I think doing different things is very, very important to kind of know who you are. My career just rolled on to going more and more niche and learning more about who I am. And so now, I'm still figuring out who I am now, right? So who knows where I'll be in the next 5 years. But right now I'm happy where I'm sitting, yeah. Grew up with, I was raised by a single mom on disability. I never had a leg up. I always had to work harder than everybody else. I always had to scratch. I worked full-time as a full-time student. It was exhausting all the time, always having to work harder than everyone else. It felt like to me. So what I loved about INROADS, and I think the whole purpose of it, is to improve diversity and bring people like me into this world who honestly wouldn't have been brought into it otherwise. So I think what's really meaningful to me is getting that opportunity and finally getting that leg up and being seen. And then, it kind of changed my entire trajectory in my life because I didn't know I could be that person. I guess growing up, I just thought, I never learned much from my parents about this kind of stuff. So all I learned was you got to be either a doctor or a lawyer. That's how you're successful probably. And so I never knew this third avenue of being in business was an option. And I never realized how much I would love it.